Alright guys, welcome back to another VR tutorial. Today we start the advanced VR tutorial series, which is complementary to the how to make a VR game series. Today I'm going to show you how you can keep track of and save changes you make in your Unity project using GitHub and its Git client GitHub Dekstop. I think I speak for all Unity users when I say that mistakes and weird Unity bugs just happen from time to time, and that can potentially break your whole game at any stage. Therefore, I really recommend you to frequently save your changes with GitHub to always have a backup, but also to be able to easily share and collaborate with others on your project. Definitely watch this video until the end before starting our how to make a VR game series as well. So, assuming that you already installed and set up Unity Hub, we start by signing up for GitHub. You will find the link to GitHub in the description. For me, GitHub has the coolest sign up page ever. Just press on sign up and follow their guided sign up process. Next, after signing up for GitHub, an important piece we need is Git. This allows us to locally manage our project. Here, just press on download, choose the installer for your system, and then follow the installation guide. The next piece we need is Git LFS. LFS stands for Large File System, and as the name suggests, we can use Git LFS to manage extra large files for our projects. Also, here you can simply follow the installation process. Alright guys, now technically we could already use GitHub with our terminal because we installed the Git software. But of course, using it in the terminal would be really impractical, and therefore we need a nice Git client with a nice user interface and a clear structure. For that, we are going to download GitHub Dekstop from GitHub themselves. Other Git clients I can recommend are Fork or SourceTree. And again, here just press on download and follow the installer. Now we finally installed all the tools we need. When you install GitHub Dekstop for the first time, this window will be empty for you. Let's finally create our project. For that, we need to switch over to GitHub in our browser. Sign in and then click on New to create a new repository. We can give our repository here a name. We can add a description if we want. And then we can choose if we want to make the repository public or private. Let's go for private now. Then we have the option to include a README file. This file will also be included in the local copy of your project, so the README file is a good way to give important notes or instructions to others who will also use your repository. Next is a really important step. Don't forget to add Unity gitignore file. This file is very valuable because it will ignore certain predefined files, which means they will not get unnecessarily synced every time, because they are only relevant to you or just shouldn't change for any other person which uses the same project. The gitignore file can be adapted to your liking later in GitHub Dekstop. Lastly, you can choose a license for your project. Since we have a private project, it doesn't really matter. Many public repositories use the MIT license, which basically gives users the permission to reuse code for any purpose. As long as users include the original copy of the MIT license in their distribution, they can make any changes or modifications to the code to suit their own needs. Lastly, just create a repository. Okay guys, finally we can sign in to our GitHub Dekstop client. For this we go to File and then Options and sign in through our browser. Alright, and now we are ready to clone the repository we just created on GitHub. We just go on to File, Clone Repository, click on the repository you want to clone, choose a path for it, and then press on Clone. The repository is now locally saved, and we can go on to create our Unity project. For that, we just open our Unity Hub and then go to New Project. We will create a new URP project, choose a name for it, and then choose the same path that we chose for our repository. And then we just click on Create Project. The new project is now saved in the same folder of our repository. Our project is finally created. And because we saved it in the GitHub repository, our changes should now be shown in the GitHub Desktop client. Let's open it and see how many changes we have. You see that we have many changes, and we don't want that. So let's check our folder to see what went wrong. Now, if you open the folder, you see that the gitignore file is not inside of our project. So let's do that. If we now open the GitHub Desktop client, we will see that the changes drop to 67 changed files. By the way guys, as side info, if you have multiple GitHub accounts, it can occur that you have a warning sign here. Just press on the icon and choose your correct email, update the email, and the warning should be gone. Alright guys, now you might wonder how else can we improve our project? Well, you might remember that we installed Git LFS. And Git LFS is there to track huge files. So for example, Photoshop files or huge models that you don't want to save on GitHub every time that you make changes. Because this can eat up your bandwidth and cause you to pay more for your GitHub storage, which wouldn't be needed necessarily. Luckily, Git LFS only has to be set up once per project. So even if your friends or coworkers download your project, they will be automatically prompted from their GitHub client to initialize Git LFS without setting up anything. Now, let me show you to set up Git LFS on your project. Alright, to install Git LFS, you open your folder and open it in the terminal. If you have Windows 10, you can also git bash here. Here, you just type in git lfs install, and Git LFS will be hooked in your folder. Believe it or not, this is basically it, but let me show you how you can track specific file types or files. To do that, just type git lfs track and then type the file name that you want to track. If I want to track all the JPEG files, I'm gonna type star.jpg, and this is gonna track all JPEG files. If you want to track a specific file, then just type the whole file path dot the file ending, and it will track this specific file. If we go back to our folder, we will see that a git attributes file has been added. If we open this, we will see that there is one line added which tracks our JPEG files. I will leave a git attributes file in the description that tracks the most common files already. Excellent, now we set everything up and we are ready to use our GitHub. We first commit our changes and then push them to our online GitHub repository. For this, we can just type a name of the commit. So usually you would type here initial commit and then commit this to your main branch. You can then push this to the origin, which is going to sync it to your GitHub repository on the internet. Now, we already heard some GitHub specific words such as commit and push. I think these two words are clear. But how about branch? Well, I'm going to show you what branching is in a second, but let's first show you how to handle changes in Unity. For this, go to your Unity project and then add a new game object. So now we added a cube and you see we have some changes in the scene. Save the scene and go back to your GitHub Desktop. We see that we have a change in our sample scene in Unity. Also, if you have only one change, it will already fill in the name for you, but you can also rename it. And the same goes here, you can just commit this to the main and then push it. In your history, you will see all your commits that you made. If you want to go back, You can just right click onto the change and revert changes in commit. You then push your changes. And if you go back to Unity, you see that you are prompted to reload the scene. Your cube is now gone, which means your command worked. Now let's look at what happens if you want to delete your changes right away. We create a cube again, save our scene, and go to GitHub Desktop. Now, what if we want to delete the change right away? We just right click on the change and discard the change. We go back to Unity and reload the scene again, and the cube is gone. Let me show you the most important things about collaboration with GitHub. I'm in my GitHub account now, and we go to our latest repository, and then to settings, down to collaborators, and here we can add the email address of our friend or coworker. Once the coworker or friend has accepted the invite, he will be able to work on the project with us. Okay, let's wait until our friend opens the invitation, and then we should see him as a collaborator. So now that we have added people to our repository, they can work on it. Now we are all in the main branch. So if our colleague has made some changes, we can fetch the origin, and we will see he has made some changes. But hold on, what if we have already made some changes in the same scene and in the same branch? So let's create a cube, save the scene, and open GitHub Desktop. What now if we pull the changes down and we already have some changes? To be sure that there will be no conflicts between the changes, we can just stash all the changes from us and then pull the changes that our friend made. Now we go back to Unity and we can see what kind of change our friend has made. Cool, he has added a capsule. Now if we go back to GitHub Desktop, we can get back our changes and look at them in Unity. Cool, we don't have any conflicts and we have both objects still in the scene. We can then go back and commit our changes, and now we will have both objects. Okay guys, before closing off this episode, let me tell you one more useful tip. In GitHub, users can create branches. We saw that we can both work in the main branch and push changes, but this can be really risky because there can be conflicts. Usually projects have one main branch and then multiple branches around that. It is up to you how you want to structure them. Some teams make branches per person, others make branches per feature. Branches are a good way to split up the work and prevent conflicts when multiple people are working in the same repository. To create a new branch, click on the current branch and click New Branch. We can then give it a name and click on Create Branch. This will create the new branch from the main. So the main is the basis, which means if we then open Unity, nothing should have changed because it bases on the main. In order for other people to see our new branch, we first have to publish this branch. Now all collaborators can see this new branch. Let's go to Unity and see how this works. We're gonna make some changes in this new branch. Save our scene and go back to GitHub Desktop. We now can commit our changes to our new branch and push them like before. Now if we go back to GitHub, we can see that we have two branches. We also see that we have a green button which says Compare and Pull Request. Normally, if you want to merge two branches, you would do this in GitHub. But I'm going to show you a much easier way to do it. Let's look at our branches. We have a main branch and a new branch. The new branch is active right now. So we go back to Unity, open our GitHub Desktop, and if we change the branch now to main, we go to history and search for our new branch. We see that this branch is one change before our main, which means the main has one change less than our new branch. We want to merge this change into the main branch now. For this, we just click on the new branch and then create a merge commit. And that's it. Our new change is now merged into the main. We can push this change. We go back to Unity, reload the scene, and we can see that the main branch has now the same changes that we did in the new branch. Assuming this is a new feature, we would now finish the new feature, which means we can now get rid of the new branch. To get rid of the branch everywhere, we choose this to delete it also remotely. And now this branch is deleted for everyone, and we can now work on new features again. Alright guys, and that's it guys. Thank you for staying all the way to the end of this video. You are now able to correctly manage your Unity project, know the most important terms around GitHub, and know how to use the most crucial functions in GitHub Desktop. Make sure to check out our other videos around VR development, or consider supporting the channel with a like or subscribe. Or check out the links in the description. See you next time.